Hi, my name's Riannah and I was diagnosed with endometriosis when I was 19. So I got a really bad shooting pain in my belly, which I'd never had before, and it ended up with me being curled up in a ball. At the time my parents were in Cornwall and I'd just split up with my boyfriend and all my family live away, so I had no one. So my granddad took me to A&E and they basically sent me home and said to come back if it got worse. So I then went back and it took ages, but they finally admitted me for 2 weeks and told me that I had pelvic inflammatory disease and that I'd never have children. And then they sent me home, and then after that it took 2 years of A&E, doctors, specialists, for them to finally do a laparoscopy and found that I did have endometriosis. So 2 years after they misdiagnosed me with pelvic inflammatory disease, I went to a specialist who did a laparoscopy and found endometriosis on my pelvis, but it was minimal. So I just had little dots around, which he said, obviously with endometriosis, the pain and how much of it you have doesn't reflect one another. So he said even though you have a little bit, it can explain why you're in so much pain. So after my first laparoscopy, I didn't have any more symptoms for a year. I was pain-free for a year, and then gradually, month by month, little bits started to come back. But the specialist I was under, I had to go on a waiting list to go back under him because I got discharged after my laparoscopy. So they got rid of everything they could. Obviously they said we can't do anything about adenomyosis. The only treatment for that would be to have a hysterectomy, which that's not something that I want to do. I'm only 24 years old, so they've basically now obviously put me into the menopause, which is helping with the pain until they can do another surgery basically. Yeah, I think you get to a point where you have to think, why me? But then you have to think that there are a lot of other women that are a lot worse off. I know that there's a lot of people that can't work and I can work, and there's a lot of people that can't have treatments that I can have because it doesn't work. So I think sometimes I just have to have a chat with myself. I think when you first find out, you don't know who to talk to. My parents were there and that was fine, but it's one of them where someone can say to you, yeah, I completely understand, but they don't really. It takes being in that position to completely understand. So if at any point I have a down day or I'm bloated and feel like a whale, or a lady comes up to me and says, when are you due? Which happens a lot. I tend to go to the Women with Endometriosis page because you can basically say anything and it's not judged at all. And you can guarantee that if you're going through something that you think you might be the only one, there is other people there as well. And a lot of the time, I think that there's certain things that you can't share with your family, and your friends are probably bored of hearing about it, but all the girls on there are just really supportive, so it's helped me through quite a few bad days. So I think it's really important to talk about mental health, just because I bottled up quite a lot of my emotions for quite a long time, which then resulted in me having to go through the NHS to see a therapist to talk about things and basically try and make my brain okay again, which I don't think it should have had to get to that stage. And I think if I'd have spoke sooner to the right people or to people that supported me, I would have been able to mentally be able to carry on without having to go into that kind of situation, because it really, really helped me. But getting to that stage, I felt like it had gone too far, and then it took a lot further to have to get back to my normal self again. So definitely you have to talk.